with Yvonne and Jem, we'll be looking into the laboratory method of teaching. Do you like experimenting in laboratory with apparatuses? Or do you want to feel like you're the next Albert Einstein or Nikola Tesla? Well, laboratory method best fits you. But what is laboratory method in teaching? Stick together with us as we'll tackle more about it. But before that, let's talk about the brief history of laboratory. The Latin term laboratorium from its Latin term labor, which means exertion, effort, or work, was already used in medieval period. However, it was only in the late 16th century that the term assumed its meaning, which it retains from its modified form in modern languages today. In the 14th century, the term laboratorium meant simply just a task or work. So around 1450s, the first usages of the term relating to workshops can be detected in the context of monasteries. Eventually, in the 16th century, laboratorium primarily denoted workshop of alchemists, apothecarists, and metallurgists, and subsequently came to refer to all accommodation in which natural phenomena and processes were explored by means of tools and instruments. So, in the modern generalization of the term laboratory, with its focus on science, only occurred around the turn of 20th century.
So, laboratory methods uses raw materials or data to produce better understanding of the subject matter or of the lesson. To be more specific, in laboratory methods, we learn by doing. Commonly, laboratory methods are investigatory or experimental. And listed here in the screen are the objectives of the laboratory method. Generally, it uses the power of observation and reasoning to manipulate learning with equipment. It also makes use of reality to make learning easier and more permanent.
So the advantage of using laboratory method is that learners like you learn by doing. You come in contact with raw data and it develops your observation and reasoning skills. Also, it provides training to learners in organizing data gathered from real objects since you come in contact with real-life objects, and it prepares you in solving real-world problems. Though laboratory methods have advantages, it also comes with disadvantages. One is that it is uneconomical. The waste of the experiments are too much for a one-time use. It also does not give too much attention to verbal expressions as it detaches the learners from interacting with one another. Moreover, the repeated use of equipment in an experiment becomes mechanical, which means the learners do not think critically when using them due to familiarity.
So there are parts in the laboratory method. These are preparation, actual work period, and culminating activities. The preparation is wherein the facilitator gives an overview of the previous topic if there is. The planning also occurs here, and it is where the facilitator formulates as to what learning outcomes are needed to be achieved for the day. In the actual work period, learners are tasked to work on the activity with a facilitator's supervision. Students may either work individually or within a group, but either way, the activities must be recorded well for reference for the next activities. Lastly is the culminating activities, where students share the results from the previous activity, and this is where learners may ask questions for clarification and raise conclusions from the discussion made.
As a method of teaching, the laboratory method of teaching is rooted in Piaget's theory of cognitive development. His theory explains how a child constructs a mental model of the world. He disagreed with the idea that intelligence was a fixed trait and regarded as a cognitive development as a process which occurs due to biological maturation and interaction within the environment. Laboratory activities had a distinctive and central role in the science curriculum, and science educators have suggested that many benefits occur from engaging students in science laboratory activities. Thus, laboratory method is a unique source of quality learning and teaching in science, because science students are able to observe and manipulate materials to demonstrate certain aspects of the subject matter, which has been learned in class through lectures, discussions, and textbooks. So, hence, laboratory method provides students with opportunities to engage in process of investigation and inquiry, which is believed to enhance quality of education. That's it, guys. I hope you learned something about the laboratory method of teaching. This has been Yvonne Lim, and thank you for listening.